every gust of wind. The villagers avoided approaching it, as rumors of a spirit dwelling within circulated among them. One night, a group of young and curious friends decided to uncover the secrets of this house. Armed with flashlights and hearts full of excitement and fear, they entered. With each step, the floorboards groaned under their feet, and the whistling of the wind through the cracks in the walls filled the air with unintelligible whispers. They came upon a room where a large old painting of a woman with deep, piercing eyes hung on the wall. Her gaze seemed so real that it felt as if she could step out of the frame at any moment. And at that moment, their flashlights began to flicker and suddenly went out. Absolute darkness, accompanied by a profound silence, enveloped the space. The friends clung to each other, trying to find their way by touch. Suddenly, the sound of slow, heavy footsteps echoed from the wooden stairs. Their hearts pounded fiercely, and their breaths were trapped in their chests. With each step, the sound of the footsteps grew closer and closer. When the noise reached the door of the room, a tall, slender shadow appeared in the doorway. An old woman with white hair and a wrinkled face, her eyes shining in the dark, stared at them. An uncertain and frightening smile played upon her lips, and her trembling hands reached out towards them. "Welcome to my home," a gravelly, otherworldly voice emanated from her mouth. "I've been expecting you." The friends, stunned and bewildered, didn't know what to do. Was this old woman the spirit they had heard about in the rumors? In an instant, the old woman's face transformed. The wrinkles on her face turned into dark, deep lines, and her eyes glowed like two flames of fire. With a voice that seemed to come from the depths of other worlds, she screamed, "I will burn you all." The friends, now shivering with fear, saw that the old woman was no longer an old woman. Instead, she had become a large black creature with expansive wings that stretched to the ceiling. Her skin was like black coal, and dark smoke billowed from her mouth. "Run!" one of the friends shouted. They ran towards the exit, but with every step, dark shadows emanating from the creature's hands followed them. The old woman's sinister, inhuman laughter still echoed in their ears. They reached the door, only to find it had been closed shut. "How is this possible?" one of them whispered. "We just came in through here." As the black creature drew closer. If you enjoyed it so far, please hit the subscribe button if you liked the video. One of the friends remembered that in the old village tales, there was a way to escape the curse of dark creatures. "Light!" he exclaimed. "We need light!" At that moment, another friend pulled out a match from his pocket and struck it. The small flame of the match created a faint but hopeful light in the darkness. The black creature recoiled at the sight of the light, and a terrible growl was heard from it. They began searching for something to create a larger fire. Suddenly, one of them noticed that there were paintings on the wall that showed the way out. The paintings revealed how, using ancient rituals and light, they could defeat the black creature. With trembling hands, they began performing the ritual. One of the friends started reciting prayers written on the wall, while the others tried to produce more light with whatever they could find. The black creature, now battling the light, let out a terrifying scream and started attacking its surroundings fiercely. But the light was slowly gaining strength, and the light, now a bright flame, illuminated the room. The black creature screamed in anger and attacked the walls, but the light pushed it back. The friends, now more hopeful, looked for a way to escape. Meanwhile, one of them, who was ahead of the others, suddenly let out a loud scream. "Help!" His voice was lost among the creature's roars. The friends ran towards the sound, but when they reached the spot where he had been standing, there was no sign of him. All that remained was a shadow that was quickly fading on the wall. "Where did he go?" another friend asked in terror. Their eyes met, and they all realized that the black creature had the power to make them disappear one by one. At that moment, a long, sinister laugh came from the black creature. "You cannot escape me. I will drag you all into the darkness, one by one." The friends, now feeling fear and horror deep within, looked for a way to save their friend and themselves. They knew they needed something more than simple light to defeat this creature. And in those moments of terror and darkness, the father of one of the youths, worried for his child, arrived at the abandoned house with the local scribe of prayers. They brought with them books of prayers and sacred symbols to bind the devil. The father, with a firm and decisive voice, began to recite prayers that had the power to combat the darkness. The scribe, with movements of his hands, drew symbols in the air, and a holy light appeared in the room. The light, like a sharp sword, attacked the black creature and pushed it back. The black creature, now surrounded by light and prayers, let out an angry cry and dispersed into a dark mist. With this, the youth who had disappeared reappeared, dazed and confused but unharmed. The friends, with newfound joy and hope, embraced each other. The father and the scribe, with kind and satisfied looks, assured them that the danger was over. Together, they left the house and returned to the village, where new stories awaited to be written. And so it was that a night full of fear and darkness turned into a morning full of light and hope.